So today I'm going to be showing off my custom Monopoly game that I made. It's called Villain-Opoly, and I also want to talk about why I made it to begin with, and the benefits to you of designing and making your own Monopoly game. So this all started back during my birthday a couple months ago, when my sister got me the new Star Wars Monopoly. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's really awful. You can tell they put almost zero effort into it, and it's changed so it's a shorter game designed probably for children and not for people who love the original Monopoly. So we ended up agreeing that we should take it back and look for a better one that was more traditional and still had a good theme, but we couldn't find any. Even the new Pokemon one, which was originally our favorite because of the level of detail it had, wasn't as good as the original. So mildly annoyed, we ended up just getting the money back and went our separate ways. But then I had the great idea of, why don't I just make my own Monopoly? After all, I have a powerful computer, I went to an art school for 12 years, and I'm generally a creative person. So I decided to employ the term of FIFO, which, if you don't know, breaks down to figure it the fuck out, and I made my own Monopoly. I really love movies, so for me, Villainopoly was easily the best option, and I may even make a hero Monopoly down the road as a counter to this one. So without further ado, here it is, Villainopoly. I'm gonna apologize right off the bat because the box looks like complete shit, but that's because it's not done yet. It's still being made. So I realized pretty early on, actually, that just by looking at the board, that there's a lot of different content in this board. Most people are not gonna know all the little bits and pieces of this board. So I decided to make a reading list, or in this case, because it's movies, a watching list, that will help anyone who tries to play it actually know what the hell's going on. Accompanying this, I have the rules, which are literally the stock rules with my logo posted over top and all the little bits and pieces replaced with my wording instead. But it's essentially the same rules as a normal Monopoly game. In terms of actual pieces and game board stuff, this worked out really well for me because what I did is I went to Value Village and I bought two boards for less than $10 for both of them, and I combined all the pieces, so mine has essentially two full sets of everything you need. Houses, hotels, full stacks of money, and everything in between, so that helped a lot. My theme being villains, everything has to be centered around villains or evil or something along those lines. So for the small cards, instead of chance and community chest, I went with communist chest and gamble cards, because gambling is a vice and communism is considered bad by most of Western culture. With these cards, I tried to give them a sense of humor, so with the combination of the wording of the cards and then the actual pictures is usually something hilarious, like the Joker breaking out of jail again, or Hannibal eating someone's limb, or jokes about Wall Street and investors. I think one of my favorite ones is a picture of Moriarty when he's in the courts in Sherlock, and he's being told to go directly to jail and not pass go, and he has this smug, sociopathic face going on. As for the property cards, or in my case, the villain cards, I chose to make them somewhat bigger, and by somewhat I think they're actually double the size as the old ones, and I think it's just cool to have them this big. And then on the flip side, it's not mortgaging anymore, it's that they've been killed in action and you have to revive them. So the way I organize the board is, first off I have the undecided villains, then I have the crazy villains, I have the comedians, the vicious, the plot twisters, the synthetics, the genocidal, and then to finish it all off, the best of them all, the Sith. Instead of railroads, on my board it's all ships. So we have the Borg Cube, the Star Destroyer, the USS Vengeance from Star Trek Into Darkness, and then a Cylon base star from Battlestar Galactica. And as for utilities, we have the Death Star and then Unicron from Transformers. The prison has been replaced with Azkaban from Harry Potter, and Wall Street is free parking. The picture of go to jail has been replaced with a picture of the Joker from The Dark Knight escaping jail in the police cars just wreaking havoc, because indefinitely he's only there because he chooses to be there. And that's the irony, is that late game you eventually want to go to jail to avoid landing on a deadly space. Overall, I think the best part of this game that I made is that it's never going to be done. There's still things I'm going to change here and there. They'll still get a couple of things professionally printed. But as it stands now, unfinished, it's still a million times better than any of the store-bought ones, which, if we're being honest, just seem generic and half-baked at this point. Finally, the benefit to you is that you're making something that's going to be better than the store-bought ones. It really doesn't take that much effort if you have any knowledge of Photoshop or something like that, and it's something that people will want to play because it's so original. So I'll include in the link below the template for the Monopoly board itself and the cards, and if anyone else wants it, I'll even include a link of mine, if that interests anyone out there. So thanks for watching and listening, and I'm just going to put the music on now and let a slideshow go of all the little bits and pieces of my game. Thanks for watching.